Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace MANIDHARA Prabhu. And all glories to assembled Vaishnavi devotees. As usual, Prabhuji, thank you so much for being here with us again today. Without further ado, we may put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from here. Devotees will be joining. So we're going to do that. Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, do we have audio connection?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you see?
So I should just...
Can you see the screen?
I was informed... Yes.
Okay.
I was informed today we read text 16 to 19. Is it correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Shall I just read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 8, Text 16. Tasyam Sunchambaru Akarnikayam Avashtito Lokam Apashyamanaha Parikraman Vyomni Vivrittanetrash Chatvarya Levenudisham Mukani. Brahma, born out of the lotus flower, could not seize the world. Also, he was situated in the world. He therefore circumambulated all of space, and while moving his eyes in all directions, he achieved 4 heads in terms of 4 directions. Smatyuganta Shvasanama Gurna Chalormi Chakrat Salilat Virudham Upashritaha Kanjamulokatatvam Natmanam Adhavidaha Adidevaha. Lord, situated in the lotus, could not perfectly understand the creation, the lotus, or himself. At the end of the millennium, the air of devastation began to move the water and the lotus in great circular waves. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma was perplexed about his creation, the lotus and the wood, even though he tried to understand them for 1 millennium, which is beyond the calculation in the solar years of human beings. No one, therefore, can know the mystery
Well, sorry, devotees. It seems we lost His Grace MANIDHARA Prabhu. Hopefully he'll be able to get back. Yes, he did. Prabhuji, are you back? You are muted. All right, yeah, Prabhuji, you may go ahead if you're back. You are muted. We cannot hear you.
I seem to be okay here. I can understand. Me?
Your mic is muted. All right, it seems Prabhuji is having problems with his internet connection. Even though he's here, he's unable to unmute to speak. So we'll continue the reading. If he's able to fix it, he'll continue. So
Now I can, so you can see me.
we can see you. We can hear you. Your line is breaking. Can you turn off your video, please?
Stop video. Okay.
Yeah.
I may not be in the best signal location. I am on the road traveling.
All right. So now you may go ahead and speak. It might be better now.
You can hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
So we can continue?
Yes.
Okay. So no one therefore can know the mystery of the creation and cosmic manifestation simply by mental speculation. The human being is so limited in his capacity that without the help of the Supreme, he can hardly understand the mystery of the will of the Lord in terms of creation, continuance, and destruction. Text 18. Kaeshayo savam abjaprishta etat kutva jam ananyat apsu asti adustat iha kinchanaitat adishtitam yatra satanubhavyam. Lord Brahma in his ignorance contemplated, whom am I that I am situated on the top of this lotus? Wherefrom has it sprouted? There must be something downwards, and that from which this lotus has grown must be within the water. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The subject matter of the speculations of Brahma in the beginning regarding the creation of the cosmic manifestation is still a subject matter for mental speculators. The most intelligent man is he who tries to find the cause of his personal. Hare Krishna, are we connected?
Yes.
Yes. So I can continue?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. The most intelligent man is he who tries to find the cause of his personal existence and that of the whole cosmic creation, and thus tries to find the ultimate cause. If his attempt is properly executed with penance and perseverance, it is sure to be crowned with success. Finally, text 19. Saitam mudvikshya tat abjalala nadi bhir antarjalam avivesha narvagdatastat karanalanala nabhim vichinvam stat avindattajaha. Lord Brahma, thus contemplating, entered the waters through the channel of the stem of the lotus. But in spite of entering the stem and going nearer to the navel of Vishnu, he could not trace out the root. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. By dint of one's personal endeavor, one may go nearer to the Lord, but without the Lord's mercy, one cannot reach the ultimate point. Such understanding of the Lord is possible only by devotional service, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktya mam vijanati yamanyascha smitatvataha. So once again, the three shlokas. Brahma, born out of the lotus flower, could not see the world, although he was situated in the world. He therefore circumambulated all of space, and while moving his eyes in all directions, he achieved 4 heads in terms of the 4 directions. Lord Brahma, situated in that lotus, could not perfectly understand the creation, the lotus, or himself. At the end of the millennium, the air of the devastation began to move the water and the lotus in great circular waves. Lord Brahma, in his ignorance, contemplated, whom am I that I am situated on the top of this lotus? Wherefrom has it sprouted? There must be something downwards, and that from which this lotus has grown must be within water. Lord Brahma, thus contemplating, entered the water through the channel of the stem of the lotus. But in spite of entering the stem and going nearer to the navel of Vishnu, he could not trace out the root. So this is actually a very, very wonderful example of the failure of any empiric process to gain any sort of knowledge. We were all raised with the understanding that I cannot do anything without knowing, and to know means to learn, observe, and gather information. But here, the real problem is revealed. Gather information with what? There are so many foolish people who may even say, I don't believe what I don't see. I remember once on the street, one of these gentlemen addressed me like this. He said, I don't believe what I don't see. So what happened, he had a big glasses like this. I was a young man, I was still quite patient. So I just snapped his glasses away. And I said, so, what do you see now? And he was actually not so stupid. He started to laugh. He said, give me my glasses back. So I said, so you can see again? And he understood immediately. This is so foolish. Some people may think, I don't need any glasses. I can see perfectly well. No. The eyes are just another brand of glasses. And people will agree, those who are a little bit considerate, that our vision is subjective. What do we actually really see? Okay. So actually, I met people who definitely agree that we see through our consciousness. Okay. What we think, what we feel, and what we want, that's actually what we see. Why? Well, just look. What do you think a hungry man will see when he enters a town? He will see only restaurants, not the town, really. Because he's hungry. A lusty man, he will see only women. Oh, wow, there are so many women here. What a nice town. But another man, students of history, he will see, like example, only the historical monuments and the history of the town. I remember once I drove in a town with the father of a devotee, and he was a postman. And it was so entertaining to see how the man entered the town, and the only thing he could see was the post boxes. How many post boxes do they have here? And what color do the post boxes have? So because he was a postman. So our vision is so subjective, so limited. We cannot trust the eyes what we see. Therefore, Shastra Chakshu actually means we see through the eyes of the Shastra, the scriptures, and suddenly you get a completely different vision. You don't see let's say, you don't see a beautiful woman. Of course, yeah, I see beautiful woman. Yeah, the eyes will tell you, wow, this is nice. But if you are more intelligent, you see, this woman is so stupid and so beautiful simultaneously. So you see the consciousness of the people. This is more important, like the physical shape, or what to speak of understanding that we are not this body. If you really understand that, your vision will change. You can talk to people in a completely different way. You don't see people according to the age, shape of the body, place they live in, color of the skin. All this is completely unimportant in Krishna consciousness. Important is how many intelligent questions these people can ask. And here we have an example of Lord Brahma, who is asking a very intelligent question. First of all, he is asking, where do I come from? How did I end up here? He is searching the origin. There's actually a Chinese proverb, that it says, the real intelligence means to understand things in their origin. Where do they come from? Because we are basically just confused by the effect, but we don't understand the cause. It's like animals are like that. Animals respond to a sound, but they don't ask where the sound came from. Animal perception is very much like this. They respond to a smell. They don't ask where the smell came from. They don't seek the origin. But a human person, that's the privilege of being in a human form. We can ask actually about the origin. How did we get into this situation? Where do we come from? What generated our environment? Why was our environment generated in a particular fashion? This is all very intelligent questions. And we know that, like the scientists, are asking very similar questions. But they are always failing. Why? Because they depend on an incomplete, imperfect sensual perception. Like we have now the great latest achievement, the artificial intelligence, okay? Many, many years of illicit spying and information collection by the media operators, they put together a pattern of how the human being acts, and they gathered immense amount of information from what they hear, what they see, studying patterns of human behavior. By the way, psychiatrists, they're also like this. They have answer for everything. They will know why you are scratching your head like this, because this is a cause, effect of something else. And the speculation is just sometimes amazing. But it's all based on a false self or incomplete senses perception. So the whole highly celebrated artificial intelligence, which seems to help us so much and knows so much and is the answer for everything, it is still not complete because it's collected by incomplete people with incomplete senses. So it cannot be complete. There's nothing perfect which can only be done by something which is imperfect. Doesn't make any sense even logically. So it's you don't have to be a great philosopher or scientist to understand this. So scientists are using instruments to gather knowledge. Who developed these instruments? Again, people with imperfect senses. So these instruments cannot be perfect because whatever they seem to be perfect, no, they cannot be perfect because they were developed with imperfect senses. This is a very basic line of Srila Prabhupada's preaching. Therefore, he questioned everything. All what was told to us in a school, what we were taught, is all coming from an imperfect source. And it's preached with a great vigor and very determined, this is the truth. But as we know, in our life we can experience what they told us is the truth turns out to be a lie, constantly. If I would go become now autobiographic, I'm living in a 71 years old body. You know how many lies I heard in my life? It's pathetic. I'm born in a communistic country. I was taught this is my future. The communism is finished, and you know what? That country is also finished. It's not even called like this anymore. But I was taught in a school this will be forever. No, it's not forever. I was born in Czechoslovakia. That doesn't exist anymore, that country. Now it's two countries, Czech and Slovakia. I was taught in a school that Russian people are super people with a special brain because they are flying in a space now, in a rocket. Just very special people. I came home from the school. I told my father, Russian people must be special. He said, yeah, that comes from vodka, from the alcohol they are drinking. And that was his joke. That was it. So I didn't become a communist. Finished. Then my parents immigrated to a capitalistic country, to West Germany. I heard then in a school, I was still going to school, that good people produce Mercedes cars and make lots of money. That's the goal of life, And actually, the Germans are the most perfect managers. That's it. Considering what a mess today German country is, and the Mercedes cars are not so good anymore either. So it was, again, another false promise, another false idea. I collected identities in my life which are completely false. Complete designations, just names, numbers, which were assigned to me. You open your passport, there's a number. There's a picture of you, usually a horrible picture, Actually, the passport pictures they are really horrible usually. So is it me? This is me, really? Everything what we see around us is actually based on imperfect sensual perception. So here we open Srimad Bhagavatam. And we see Lord Brahma, the creator of the whole universe, facing the same frustration. And Lord Brahma is the embodiment of intelligence. He's the supremely intelligent being in the whole universe. And still, he is climbing down. He doesn't know where he came from. He's suspecting, because there is a lotus, there must be a water it comes from. He cannot reach the beginning. Impossible. He's going in the right direction. And we know, I met also people in my life who were not devotees. They got good ideas. They were thinking in the right direction. But they can never reach any conclusion. Prabhupada was complaining about the scientists. They never reach any conclusion, but they are teaching already, like they have the conclusion. Really. Prabhupada said, they can search, fine with me, but why are they teaching? Teacher means you know. And teacher means you know the conclusion. And teacher means somebody who knows the origin of things. He's disseminating simply knowledge. That's it. And it's not a knowledge he created, it's a knowledge he got. This is our system. Now there's a little problem. Krishna is putting a very special condition. That's a real problem. He goes, you know how you can get the real knowledge? First serve and then deserve. People are saying, no, I will not do that. Because I would have to serve blindly. Because I don't know, and I already have to serve. I have to serve Krishna to know him. Just imagine you go on a street and you say, please, if you want to know this gentleman, you have to serve him. Most of the people will say, are you crazy? I don't even know this man. And I'm only supposed to serve him. Well, sorry, this is how Krishna put it. First, you must serve. And then you deserve, means actually that the knowledge will be revealed to you. I saw even amongst devotees many intelligent people, brilliant people. But the moment they try to trust their intellect and researched on their own terms, I was amazed how stupid they can become. Foolish. Because they trusted their own perception. They trusted their own intellect. So this leads us to another point. We should never forget where we got the knowledge from. We didn't create Krishna consciousness. We didn't create Bhakti Yoga. We didn't create anything, actually. We just joined it. It was just given to us by the mercy of a pure devotee. And that, Prabhupada said it, actually. He said it, never forget where you came from. So this is a very important point. Because as soon we actually assume that we are the origin of something we just got, we are thieves, actually. We stole it because it was not our creation. We didn't create it, and we cannot claim any ownership over this. So that puts us in a position of a simple servant. Prabhupada compared it with the postman. Postman is not creating any mail. It's not like he's sitting at home making parcels, and then he goes around, he goes, I made this parcel, this is for you. No, he just goes to the post office, he picks up his parcels, and he delivers it to the receiver. This is in essence what we are doing. That's called preaching. We just pick up what we got, deliver it, and possibly in the best way. Sometimes people curse us. What kind of parcel you brought to me? I didn't order this. And sometimes people like it. They go, oh, this is nice. Yeah, thank you for the parcel. We don't care. Like devotees sometimes discuss, when we are going to be finally popular and everybody will love us in our preaching. Well, I doubt this time will ever come. There will be always people who will hate us. There will be always people who like us. And most of the people will not even know, shall I hate him or like it? It's called confused. So that's the people we are addressing, and we are trying to make them favorable. It's a struggle. It's a fight, to reclaim the conditioned soul from this illusion, from this Maya. It's a struggle, but it's worth of it. It's like the postman. He knows I got such a good mail. When somebody opens this parcel, he will be so benefited. Then he rings the door, and then somebody goes, what are you doing here? I didn't order any parcel, But the postman goes, look, I brought you something so nice. He used to distribute books even like that. When you really get into this mood, I remember devotees distributing books just on the level of taste. It sounds crazy, but this doesn't, sounds very intellectual or this. But I remember my godbrother, Prabhu, he was distributing Nectar of Devotion. It got a brown cover, dust jacket, and inside it was like grayish, the cover. And he told people, this book, outside like chocolate, inside like marzipan. And he said it so amazingly and so softly. They got hungry and they bought the book. This sounds crazy, but this is actually, when you deal with conditioned souls, you end up in a quite bizarre situations because they are all functioning on a senti-mental platform. Senti means the senses and mental means the mind. So we have so many tools we can present Krishna consciousness like this. We give them prasadam. There are so many, actually, when you see our ways of preaching, it's extremely sensual. We have so many sensual temptations to offer, but it's spiritual temptations. It's all connecting to Krishna. Whatever is connecting to Krishna is spiritual. Whatever is connecting to illusion, that's what the material thing is. So Prabhupada gave us so many ways we can actually tempt people to take part in Krishna consciousness. Those who are considering themselves very intellectual, There are so many profound intellectual statements in the Bhagavatam alone. You can fry your brain on it. Actually, it's recommended one shouldn't do that. Don't even, like, I give an example, okay? You know how many discussions I heard in my life about the structure of the universe? It's still not finished. There are devotees who dive into this, you know, how to construct a Vedic planetarium. It's still going on, the discussion, because Krishna's creation is so amazing. It's so complex. And it's so that we cannot grasp it even with our little mind. We cannot grasp it, what to speak of our senses. What do you see when you look at night in the sky, just thousands of stars? What do we know about this? Nothing. And we don't have to look even on the stars. Look at our own body. Do we know why our heart is right now beating? We know it's beating, obviously, because we are alive. But why? Who started the whole thing? Who started my heart? And who will stop it? I don't know. I'm using this body every day. I have no idea. I'm moving the arms. I'm moving the face. I'm moving in so many ways. Who is facilitating all this? You know, why is my body changing from young to old? You know, I used to have blonde hair. Now I have gray hair. Why? You know, there's some chemistry going on. I have no idea. I don't know anything, actually. I'm eating. That's nice. I like eating. Then I have to pass stool. Why? It'd be so nice just to eat and never pass stool, isn't it? No, who arranged for all this? I have to go to sleep. I don't like to go to sleep. I'm not so inspired to always check out and go to sleep and become a helpless piece of something. No, I have to go to sleep. Who arranged for that? How do we fall asleep? The division between conscious laying down and then fading away into sleep. We don't know. Where is the borderline? We cannot consciously follow when did I actually fall asleep. And it's just endless. So many examples. People cannot get even angry or arrogant without Krishna's blessing. And sometimes you see, and Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, where he just shows only small fragments of his potencies. I am the ability in man. I am the life in the living. I am the strong of the strong ones. I always laugh about when the boxing men, are smashing the other's face and they go, I am the greatest. He is the greatest idiot because he doesn't understand where did this strength came from. He thinks, I'm training. I was training. Well, so many are training and they don't have the strength. There are people who are not even physically much equipped, but they can produce such a amazing things. They suddenly have such a strength you cannot imagine. Who gave them the ability? Who facilitate all this? And this is an endless examples. It's actually quite interesting when you go around and see how ignorant people are. They're just using things. They're just living, breathing, moving, and nobody asks who actually facilitated and arranged this whole thing. So this is a division between foolish ones and the pious ones. Pious persons, they know there must be an origin. There must be a creator. And there will be also an annihilator. Like we have in Krishna, like in a religious groups, they struggle always with the idea God is love. So where does the hatred came from? I don't know. How is it possible? People can hate each other so much. I remember when the first time picture of Lord Nrsimhadev was, shown to us. Many devotees, when the seventh canto came up, they were shocked. They said, Prabhupada, so far we worship Krishna with a flute, playing in the forest of Vrindavan. Who is this one? Half man, half lion, garlanded with their bloody intestines. It's so much blood everywhere. My God, what is this? This is cruel. And Prabhupada just smiled and he said, same Krishna. He can be perfectly cruel. Everything with Krishna is perfect. He can be so perfectly ghastly and horrible that no horror movie can match it. People get shocked when we speak like this because this is completely out of their conception who really God is. But we can see, yes. So for us, God is everything. He's the beginning, He's the middle, He's the end. He is love, He is hated. Everything comes from God. Once we understand that, then actually the life becomes very interesting. You don't get surprised. You know how many times people go, oh my God, what happened? They say this. Well, why are you saying this? If you know everything comes from God, yeah, anything can happen. Because nothing can move without the God's permission. The question only remains, what is my position in the whole thing? How shall I act so I don't expose myself to the negative side of God's energies? There's positive and there's negative. So what shall I do? And Prabhupada immediately gave us all the alternatives. So Prabhupada, showed us some problem, chant Hare Krishna. I mean, there are devotees who told me, seeing Prabhupada in the moments of a grievous, serious decision was fascinating. They asked Prabhupada, shall we buy this building or not? Serious, involves millions of dollars. Serious decision. And Prabhupada was going, buy it. I mean, it was obvious he was making a phone call. It was like he was making a phone call. He was not, and sometimes, of course, he was making very spontaneous decisions, but it was so harmonious. Everything around Prabhupada was so flowing and so harmonious because he was empowered. He was in tune with God's desire. He was tuned with the internal energy of the Lord, entirely empowered. And Prabhupada was like, they said, Prabhupada, we need a man for this task. And Prabhupada just turned around and said, take him. Just out of nowhere. He pointed to a devotee. And they were like, him? But he never did that. Prabhupada said, Krishna will help him. And that devotee turned out to be very efficient in what he was doing. Because there is one thing that sounds very, very revolutionary when I say such a thing. Prabhupada didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what he was doing because he was just doing what Krishna is doing. And Prabhupada himself sometimes was amazed. He said, oh, it's quite big, happening here. It was amazing to see Prabhupada walking through his own creation, admiring how Krishna did it. Prabhupada was reading his own books. And the devotees were thinking, well, maybe he's reading them because of the editing challenges. Maybe he wants to improve something. Or, people do that. You write something, then you read it again, then you improve it. And Prabhupada smiled. They said, Prabhupada, you are reading your own books, like Krishna book is a classical example. He was reading his own Krishna book every evening. And Prabhupada, you read the books. Shall we change something? Or Prabhupada said, no. It's just for me amazing how Krishna wrote it. I didn't write it. Krishna was writing. So Prabhupada was reading because Krishna was writing. Now this is the highest level of devotion, of nimitta matram, it's called. Krishna tells to Arjuna, you just become a tool. That's all. Just a tool. Just follow my command. I will arrange everything. I already did arrange everything. Now you discover how I arranged everything. Now this is the highest level of devotional service. So you can ask, why doesn't it work like this? Well, because we are in between. That's all. With our imperfect sensual perception, with our obstinacy and our impurities, we are disturbing the flow of Krishna's mercy. And without wanting it, we don't want that. But because we are not the pure tools, some impurities has to be there. And therefore the result is sometimes not so big, sometimes not so good, and sometimes, let's face it, it's plenty catastrophic. That's because of our impurities, and that's because we put ourselves as the doers. And this is actually an incredible science how to do that. If you want to get a touch of this, one is to go out and try to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. Oh, I will get maybe again blamed that I'm advocating book distribution as the only way. No, I don't do that. Anybody in his service can experience. I met a pujari just very recently. I really admired how the deities beautifully were dressed. It was actually my god sister who did that. And I know that god sister since 45 years. So I said, it's amazing how the deities are dressed. And she looked at me like, what are you talking about? He said, Krishna is dressing himself. I am just doing here my thing. I'm just pujari, yeah. But he is actually dressing himself. I just pick up the dress because he wants to dress like this. And she said it in a very innocent way. She was not even proud. She just thought this is how it works, So I was like, wow, I would like to experience this on Buddhist tradition. In any kind of service we are doing, cooking, deity dressing, book distribution, we can experience what it means to become tool in Krishna's hands. It's a beautiful position. You may say, oh, then I disappear. Where is my decision power? Where is my this? No. This is our constitutional position. Now, in Prabhupada's case, we saw something even more amazing. Krishna, Prabhupada, acted in a complete harmony with Krishna. But Krishna gave Prabhupada a space or a choice what can be done. It's a discussion, it's a dialogue. Now to see this was so fascinating. Prabhupada said, devotees asked Prabhupada, what shall we do now? And Prabhupada said, yeah, we have to ask Krishna. And then he looked at us, he said, Krishna wants me to decide. Krishna turns to a pure devotee and said, I can serve you. Hey, we make a change now. You are trying desperately to serve me. So I also like to serve you. What do you want? What do you want? Like I give example, the construction of the Mumbai temple, which was one of the most, the biggest challenges, how to do that. And Krishna, Prabhupada argued with Krishna. He said, I promised you, I will establish your worship on this place. So please help me. And Krishna did, actually. Amazing things happened in that project. It was the first temple. Prabhupada installed the deities before the temple was built even. Normally you build a temple, then you invite the Lord to come in. Prabhupada turned it around. He invited the Lord and he said, now you are sitting here, I installed you, you are here, so please, there has to be a temple. To see this was unbelievable. To be part of such a thing like Prabhupada demonstrated to us was just beyond our own expectations. When you were close to Prabhupada, you saw only amazing things happen. You could call it miracles, but Prabhupada said miracles is actually a foolish word. Everything is arranged by Krishna. It's nothing amazing in that regard. Krishna is the source. He is the cause. So we know where it comes from. So all this is illustrated here in Brahma's attempt to find out the origin of his creation, origin of the universe. And as we know, finally Lord Brahma was by tapa. Finally he sat down on a lotus and he was meditating. He heard the sound. There was sound first. Tapa means tapasya. So first tapasya, that's our process. And then comes knowledge, when you are qualified. If you grab first knowledge and there is no tapasya, it becomes simply an academic exercise, and finally it becomes compromised by something happens. But real knowledge comes first tapasya, austerity, devotional service, and then comes knowledge. So this is actually our way to proceed, and anything beyond that becomes compromised and vanishes. We saw so many things coming and going because there was no tapasya. And what is the real tapasya? Well, the real tapasya is just to follow what Prabhupada said and what he told us, and this is actually tapasya. Like we take prasadam. Prabhupada called it tapasya. You know, we go, wow, that's a nice tapasya. And we follow the principles. Why? Well, they're basically just ways to avoid trouble. That's all. People ask me sometimes, are you really following this? I mean, come on, this is for me the fun. And you are giving up the last fun I have in life. You ask me to give up this. And then it's very easy to explain to them that this is not fun, this is trouble. Meat eating. Will you go out and kill some animals to eat? Most people won't do that. So we don't have to do that. Will you gamble? You know, gambling is basically based on the fact that you lose your money. You know, so why should I do that? You know, why should I have this artificial excitement to lose my money? This is almost sadistic. This is masochistic, you know. Then, no drugs, no intoxication. Did you ever saw an intoxicated, happy person? Not really. It's dangerous. Drugs are usually poison. They're poisonous substances. So you are poisoning yourself voluntarily and you will eventually die. That's proven fact. They know. And then comes the top, enjoyment, illicit sex life. How much trouble you can get out of that? You know, I mean, this list is really long. From AIDS up to the man who competes with you for the sex life, he can even kill you. Lust is really amazing energy. So much emotional abuse. And at the end, so many illicit children, Vana Shankara, everything is included in the package. So why should we do that? So we just renounce trouble. And Prabhupada said, this is only possible proportionally how we increase a positive alternative, a positive taste. So we don't do things because they are forbidden. We don't renounce things because they are forbidden. We renounce things because we don't need them anymore. We simply don't need them. What shall I do with this? This is the successful renouncement. And to the degree we don't get a higher taste, the inclination still may be there to taste something of a lower nature. That has to be there. So this is, I was always amazed reading about the creation of the universe and Lord Brahma's struggle to understand the creation of the universe. And Prabhupada commentaries, which are not very much going for the details, technical details, how the universe was created, but they are going for the principle of the whole thing, behind the whole thing. Something we can follow, actually. Because Lord Brahma's activities and the creation of the universe is way beyond our understanding. But one thing we can follow. Lord Brahma finally performed austerities, and the knowledge was revealed to him. He didn't grab it. He didn't went to university. He didn't collected some empiric information. imperfect information gained from people who are equipped with imperfect senses. No, he actually surrendered. That's all. I know that I don't know. That's the beginning, you know. And then we surrender and we hear Shastra Chakshu. We hear from the scripture, and we, by practice, by devotional service, realized how real and how truthful is Krishna consciousness. It's a natural process. It's a gradual process. You may have doubts, and the doubts should be confronted with the spiritual master. That's what we get the spiritual master for, that we present him our doubts. Bhagavatam, they have a whole conversation. Vidura, everything, Maitreya, everything, all these conversations here before, they are based on exchange of doubts and questions and answers. That's natural. So that's how we can progress in Krishna consciousness, and that's what we can learn from Lord Brahma. To give up our personal empiric research and simply surrender to the words of superior authorities embodied in the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. Jai. There's some comments or some questions. I heard from Gurudev Prabhu. I heard from Jaya Gurudev Prabhu, who also is sometimes joining you. He is very excited over the community there. He told me he is very happy about this, and so it's very nice questions and very nice comments.
Yes, we are also very happy and very grateful to have his association as well as yours. I mean, I can imagine the inconvenience under which you have to speak to us today, but out of love for Guru and Krishna and for the devotees, you've sacrificed to be here to speak with us. We very much appreciate that. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, please, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, realizations you may want to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question. Hari Chakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, all glories to you, all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to Gurudev, and all glories to the assembled devotees. Prabhu, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the elaborate explanation. My question is, during your deliberation, you made mention that the difference between we humans and animals is that when an animal smells something, he doesn't ask where the scent is coming from. And when an animal hears a sound, he doesn't ask where the sound is coming from. But the privilege we have as human beings is that we can ask where the sound is coming from or where the scent is coming from and actually look for it. But we also hear most of the time when we read something in the scripture or when we hear something from the scripture, sometimes we are being told that this is too difficult to understand. You don't need to. And usually they use, preachers will use the example of somebody drowning, that if you are drowning and somebody throws you a rope, then you don't have to ask the source of the rope. You just grab it and come up. So can you explain a little bit about it, why we don't have to inquire about the details when we hear something? Because if that actually differentiates humans from animals, then personally I'm thinking then we should behave as humans, not animals. That we just hear something and because it's coming from the scripture, we just accept this as it is without going deeper to find out why those things were said. Hare Krishna.
Well, the example of when a rope is casted to you, then you just grab it. This is a very specific situation. This is a situation addressing actually our surrender to Krishna. Okay? But this is just addressing that situation. outside of that, Srila Prabhupada was always encouraging dialogue, question and answers, always. I mean, I can give examples from his, I give some very extreme example, okay? You can find it in Srila Prabhupada's letters. A devotee is almost embarrassed researching Krishna's features. And when he heard from Nectar of Devotion about the beauty and the size of Krishna's genital, he was asking Prabhupada, is it really not a little bit too much for me? Who is me to meditate about Krishna's genital? And the answer of Prabhupada is shocking. Prabhupada writes back, no, this is a wonderful designation, a meditation, because, you know, Krishna has such a beautiful genital, so you are meditating about the Supreme Lord. Your meditation is perfect. So this is how far you can research. I mean, it's just extreme example. So this grabbed the rope. Or Prabhupada also said, when there's an endless discussion how we fell down in the material world, Prabhupada said, what's the use of this? He said, when you fell into the ocean, the real quest and the real challenge is how to get out of that ocean. So again, when a rope is thrown to you or some safety device, just grab it so you can be pulled out of the ocean. But it doesn't stop there. One should, once one is pulled out into Krishna consciousness, one should actually inquire and ask questions. Why not? And of course, one should be careful to ask questions which are somewhat relevant. Okay? But any kind of questioning is good. But sometimes Prabhupada said, oh, this is not for you. This question doesn't have to be answered because this is not for you. That's too early. This is too premature. It doesn't serve any purpose in regards to you. Again, this was very specific and it was a very specific person. So, but the questioning should never stop. There is so much to discover. There is so much to research in Krishna consciousness. Why should we stop that? Prabhupada never encouraged blind following. You know, that's Prabhupada said blind following it's better like nothing. Okay, he's following at least blindly, okay. But we can see it. People who follow blindly, they don't stay around. They are emotionally, momentarily inspired, but then they go away again. But the more you ask and we research the reason we came to Krishna consciousness, and we are aware, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, those who know the workings, the basic workings of my material energy and my spiritual energy, they can go back home, back to me. That doesn't mean we have now to dive in Maya to find out how tricky she is, but we are surrounded by Maya. It's good to know how she works, so we can avoid her. And that will come automatically if we know how Krishna's spiritual energy works, and then we embrace the spiritual energy and we try to avoid the material one. That takes discrimination, and discrimination is intelligence. So cultivation of intelligence is absolutely necessary in Krishna consciousness. So, and it doesn't work on all the devotees, by the way. I am moving very often between nowadays, speaking for Europe. We are quite an aging movement. I would dare to say that. Not so many young devotees are joining. I don't know the African situation, but in Europe, not many young people joining. So at least the West Europe. And so the older devotees, oh yes, they have more questions. And very profound questions about how to apply Krishna consciousness in their life, how to actually transmit it to others in a more efficient and more effective way. There's so many things we can ask and research. So I don't know if this is satisfactory. I personally, if somebody throws me a rope nowadays, I definitely ask where did it came from. Definitely. You can throw me any rope you want. I am not going to take it so easily because I will ask, hey, who is throwing the rope? And very often I found there are funny people out there throwing lots of ropes, you know. So I will not do that. Sorry.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, beautiful question, wonderful answer. Prabhuji, I have a question from Srila Prabhupada's purport. This is the last text we discussed today, text 19. The opening purport, Srila Prabhupada says, by dint of one's personal endeavor, one may go nearer to the Lord. But without the Lord's mercy, one cannot reach the ultimate point. So this is where my question is coming from. Whatever the cause was, some of us have been able to get nearer to the Lord. And some of us have attained the mercy of the Lord. And therefore, some of us have attained or reached the ultimate point, whereas some of us have not. So my question is, how come we all come closer to the Lord, but very few of us actually reach the ultimate point, which is as a result of the Lord's mercy? So in effect, how does one become the recipient of the Lord's mercy and others do not become recipient of the Lord's mercy? How that happens? If you may help.
Actually, Srila Prabhupada made it very simple. He himself said, in relationship to himself, he said, you know what? I must be liberated. I must be completely Krishna conscious. You know why? Because I follow perfectly the real Krishna conscious one, meaning his guru, meaning his spiritual master. So our perfection is how to follow perfectly. Prabhupada gave another example. He said, if you dive, iron, iron into fire, it becomes like fire. At the end, it is actually like fire. So this is called nimitta matram. How can we become a tool? By attaching ourselves in selfless and uncompromised fashion to the one who is already attached. How do you realize you attach yourself to electricity? Well, you will feel it. You know, you didn't create electricity, but you attached yourself to it. So this is the whole process, and this is the whole science. That's the reason why we accept spiritual master who has a function. He is a connector. Spiritual master is a connector. He connects us to his guru, and in this way we get connected. And what is the result? Well, that's clearly described. The first result is ecstasy. You become very happy. And then there are so many other symptoms. You become enthusiastic. You become invigorated. Yeah. If you join Krishna consciousness and you become depressed, not a good sign. I don't know what you joined, but this is not Krishna consciousness. That's what we felt being connected to Prabhupada. Actually, the connection was so powerful that you forgot to suffer. There was enough misery, there was tapasya. Didn't bother us at all. People think we commit sometimes in my generation, the pioneer generations, we perform so much tapasya, so much austerity. I don't see it at all like this. It was just bunch of bliss. We were so ecstatic we couldn't even sleep. We were so austere that we couldn't even sleep. We were so blissful. And I think the principle is still valid for everyone. Krishna says the first symptom of receiving knowledge is happiness. You become enlivened. You don't become an old miserable man. It's very difficult. Krishna consciousness, very difficult. No, Prabhupada said, I didn't say it's going to be easy. But in connection with pure devotee, when you are really connected, so many things become so easy. You simply change your heart. You change your desire. You change your taste. Again, the principles we follow. Who forbade me to do that? Nobody. I can tonight get out of my car and do any nasty thing I want. Really. You don't need even much money for that. Yeah. Why don't I do that? I don't find any happiness in that. Rather opposite. Whenever I see karmis congregating for happiness, I start to suffer immediately. You ever noticed when people congregate to become happy in a material way, they start to suffer immediately. It's hellish. When many people come together to enjoy, it becomes a hell immediately. But not in Krishna consciousness. Not at all.
Well, Prabhuji, thank you. If I may, let me see, maybe extend or maybe throw more light to my question. That is, in material life, we are all encouraged to have education because it is believed if you have education, there is the likelihood you have good job and you have money to at least take care of your immediate needs. There are some people, not that they were not smart, they were not clever or intelligent, very smart, intelligent people. They went to schools, high schools like great schools like Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, and they graduated with excellence. Yet they become poor. And we can understand that sometimes that is due to their karma. But we understand that in spiritual life, it is not based on karma. So how come someone has been able to come so close to taking initiation from the spiritual master, like your humble self being a direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada? You had lots of God brothers, God sisters who were all worshiping with you, serving Srila Prabhupada. But they left. How come that you and many others had the mercy of Jagat Srila Prabhupada and you still staying? And these people who were equally serving as hard as those of you who are still here, but now those people are gone. Sometimes, even externally, some of those people were actually serving much harder, much wonderfully than those who are here today, but they are gone. So the question is, how come in spiritual life someone will come so close to Guru, to Krishna, and yet does not attain the mercy of the Lord, attain the mercy of the Guru to become successful?
There is always an element of free choice. Krishna never violates that. It happened even to Prabhupada. Already in his presence, people were leaving. Prabhupada was crying. He was going, "Where are you going?" You know. And finally he said, "If Krishna cannot stop you, I cannot stop you. This is your choice." So, but Prabhupada also said one thing. He said it several times. He said, "They will all come back again." When? That's another story. But once you started with devotional service, it will come back to you. You will have to continue one way or another. So they will come back again. But when, that's another thing. It's again based on free choice. So some people, Krishna says himself, after many, many, many lifetimes, somebody gets enough. And then from thousands of these, somebody comes close. From thousands of these, somebody really learns me to know how I am. I mean, it becomes quite exclusive. But they are all going in the right direction. And this is for us important. So Krishna consciousness is a little bit like that. It's like a train station, you know. Some people come, they stay for a while, then they keep on traveling. And some people, they just stay in a train station. They think this is so great, you know, and they just help others to get on the right train. So it's painful. It's absolutely painful to see people to lose such a nice thing what they got. What can you do? No, you cannot. Krishna cannot stop. If Krishna doesn't stop them, you cannot stop them. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I never felt very exclusive about myself. I felt like, well, I tell you quite frankly, I have no brain to leave. You know, what shall I do without Krishna consciousness? Where shall I go? And it's not like I was not in a grihasthala and you end up doing something. Let's say you have a job and this, but this is not a life. This is just a necessity. You do something out of necessity, but this is not your life, really. It's so easy to give it up because you just, it's just a means of survival. That's all. And I could, if I should become autobiographic, whatever little jobs I had in my life, they were so pathetic. It's almost a comedy. Okay? This, you cannot call it a job. And I never worked for some big economic future. If I had to do something which was money oriented, it was just for plain survival. That's all. You know, I never planned to, do something in a big place. I mean, what? I mean, give me any example. As soon as you have some money, people get envious. So I never had money, really. You know, of course, people get envious even on your beatback. But, I mean, envy is amazing quality. It's really amazing. You know, I just got in a festival a new BBT jacket, like a jumper, you know. It's a nice jumper. Every temple I visit, they ask me, where did you get the jacket from? I was thinking, well, I will donate it to somebody because I am tired of answering the question, where did I get the jacket from? It's just an example, you know. So this is not a blessing. This is just curses. You have a big house. You know how much it takes to maintain a big house? Ask any householder. You at the end, you ask, am I serving the house or is the house serving me? You become slave of the house. You know, I mean, anytime you try to enjoy something, it's ridiculous. It turns against you all the time. I met even rich people in my life. They're all miserable. They're all miserable people, afraid, where's my money and all this. If you have no money, then there's nothing to be afraid of. So, you know, prestige, position, titles, names, name, fame, and glory. It's horrible. People get killed for that. You know, you become famous, you get killed. Come on, Africa in itself has enough history whoever was prominent in Africa immediately was physically endangered. It's everywhere like this. You become something big, immediately trouble. Yeah? Whatever the purpose might be. Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is, why shall I do that? So regarding my life, I never try to go in that direction. I try to keep things low down there and chant Hare Krishna, and nobody can disturb my rounds. I will chant my, and I have my Krishna conscience. I go out. Yesterday I was in Harinam in Prague. You don't need really much facilities for that. You just go out and chant Hare Krishna on the street. I came back. I was completely happy. So, so what do we really need? And then you realize don't need much. What we really need is Krishna consciousness.
Right.
So I don't know how to, seriously, I don't know how to leave Krishna. I ask people, can you give me a good reason to leave Krishna consciousness? Since 54 years, I'm asking people, can you give me a good reason to leave this, what I'm doing? And nobody comes up with anything. And one thing I notice when I get older, people are even less and less eager to suggest something to me. They go away. They go, this guy is hopeless. I mean, I can't find any. I look around. I see every day people trying to become happy. Are they happy? I don't find any happy people. Sorry, they are miserable, all of them. Sooner or later, it's just a question of time. When I see a lusty man laughing, embracing a woman, I go, well, that's the beginning of a misery. Okay? That's where his misery starts. That idiot doesn't understand that. He thinks he's enjoying. No, he just started his misery. That's it. I mean, it's easy to see that. You have to be a big intellectual for that. So and I think Prabhupada said it's simple for the simple ones and complicated for the complicated ones. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So I think the bottom line is Krishna does not take away our free choice. So we do as we wish, and we dance to the consequences. So we pray, we make better use of our free will and make good choices. Anyone else with something to share before Prabhuji leaves for today? As we can see, he is on Sankirtan. He's on the battlefield. Well, Prabhuji, we can't thank you enough, as we said, and especially Jai Gurudev
No,
also.
sir.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, the where you read about
Oh, not Sri Prabhupada's purport?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that question you asked, can you read it again for me so that I can follow up with the question? Yeah.
Yeah, Sri Prabhupada is saying that by dint of one's personal endeavor, one may go nearer to the Lord, but without the Lord's mercy, one cannot reach the ultimate point.
Yeah, because exactly like the question you asked. Yeah, my follow-up question is, you just mentioned that our free will, we use our free will to choose whether we want to go closer to Krishna, right? If I understand the purpose.
Yeah.
By our free will, we choose, hey, I want to go to Krishna. But for we actually to be able to come to Krishna, is due to Krishna's mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Which means once you use your free will to decide to go to Krishna and you make that effort, then the mercy will come. And with the mercy, whatever difficulties, whatever stumbling blocks are there, Krishna will help you come. This is the way I understand it. So coming back to the question you asked. So somebody who has used his free will to decide that, hey, Krishna, I want to come to you. Then, if the mercy kicks in, how come the person can go back? Does that mean the mercy? Does that mean the mercy was not enough, or what?
The mercy is always there. Krishna wants 1,000 times more as we could ever want to go back home, back to Godhead. But he is absolutely discreet and respectful to our decision. And it doesn't have to be black and white. It is not like some love Krishna and some hate Krishna. No. Some are ready to surrender to Krishna unconditionally. And some still have some conditions. And according to our conditions, the process is slowed down. It doesn't stop. It's just slowed down. That means, yes, I want to serve Krishna, but like this, not like that. That's already a condition. So, and Krishna respects it. Okay. He may even arrange, okay, then you serve me like this. But usually, after a while, such a person comes again with another condition. I try to serve you now, but it wasn't good enough. I would like to serve you differently. We used to call such a devotees as managers hot potatoes. They just are thrown like a hot potato around. They never settle down in any service until it becomes revealed, and Prabhupada himself said that, addressing a situation of one of his disciples. He said, he is not sincere. That means he's not serious enough to achieve the purpose and accept that mercy coming to him. So he will have to wait a little bit, you know. So some go slower, some go faster. That depends on our expectations, our conditioning. Am I still connected?
Yeah, we can hear you, yes.
All right. So it is a little bit more refined. It's not just black and white. Actually, I never saw leaving people, Krishna consciousness, saying, Krishna, I hate you. No. They just found some reason not to serve him the way they were expected to serve him. And then more reasons, more conditions, more this. And at the end, as Prabhupada said, he is not serious. He is not sincere. So then we have to the degree we don't serve Krishna, we have to serve Maya. That's the law. That's how it is. I met such a devotee later on the street, you know, being troubled, suffering, really suffering. And I go, how is it out there? Huh? Is it fun? Actually, they said, no, it's not fun. But I have an opinion. Prabhupada called it, he is opinionated. He has an opinion. I would serve Krishna if this and this and this and this and this would not be there. Then you have a problem. They always find a reason how not to serve in a way expected. That's called opinionated. Well, they are still Krishna affiliated, but it's very slow progress. Because the ultimate progress is, Krishna, I'm here. You can do with me whatever you want, please. I'm here. Do it. Kick me, embrace me, spit in my face. I don't care. Suddenly becomes so easy.
Yeah.
It can be so easy. But as soon as you think, you know, not with him, and not here, and not there, not like this. That means we are looking for material settlement to perform our devotional service perfectly. There's one little secret, it will never happen. There's always a problem. There's in the material world always something which is just not right. There's no perfection on the material platform. Okay. Prabhupada call it phantasmagoria. He said, you are expecting phantasmagoria.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much for this second aspect of the explanation. I remember Meditator Maharaj also used to say that when you are when you are doing some service and there's so many obstacles, and even though you see all these obstacles, but if you put your best into it, and with the determination that you want to still go ahead despite all the obstacles, then he said that is when the empowerment comes. At that moment, there is a special empowerment that comes from Guru and Krishna. So somehow or the other, you'll be able to jump over the obstacle. So if I'm understanding the way you are explaining it, then it means that, yeah, even though we may decide to go to Krishna, but some impediments will come our way, and some of us, when these impediments come, we settle for it and just slacken back. So when it happens like that, then the actual empowerment doesn't come. But if we persevere and with determination, if we try to forge ahead with the best that we have, then somehow or the other, the empowerment will come. And in this way, we can achieve Krishna completely. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chakra Prabhu and Manidhara Prabhu. It seems we have Madhavan Prabhu signed up. Madhavan Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
All glory unto the Lord of the always So I just want to express my gratitude, because this lecture is one of the best lectures that we have on this platform. And from your lecture, I got a lot of realization. So as per Prabhu Sade's question also, when it was explained, they say by one's personal endeavor, one will go nearer to the Lord. So I want to think that to get the Lord's mercy, and the person is here, says you should accept, you should try to please the spiritual master. And once the spiritual master is pleased with him, I believe we can easily get the Lord's mercy. So then other narration also, I could later realize that one can take advantage of the super soul, which is within us. Share this and it is true. Krishna says that I'm seated in everyone's heart. So one can take advantage. And my question I want to ask is, how do we synchronize ourselves with Krishna's desires? Normally we have our own desire, but Krishna also has his own plan. So how do we synchronize these two our own to comply with that of Krishna? Hare Krishna. Yes, I'm trying to look now at that.
Hare Krishna, I had a very kind of poor audio perception here. Can one maybe put the question in a very simple and clear way?
Okay.
Well, Hare Krishna, I think the simplest is we as living entities, we have our own desires, we have our plans, we have things we would like to do. And Krishna, who is also the supreme person, also has his plans for us. So his question is, how do we dovetail our plans in Krishna's plans so that we follow Krishna's plans?
It is for this reason we accept spiritual guidance. This is a function of a spiritual master who should be aware of our, you could call it, level of conditioning and our desire to sacrifice that conditioning in Krishna's service. So such a spiritual master is required because he can, according to the time, place, and circumstances, tell us what in a given situation is the best we can really do practically. That we have to go back home, back to God, that's clear. But how we are going to do it? With what kind of body? Varna, Ashram, Dharma situations, okay? According to Varna and Ashrama, and this, we are moving in different situations. So what can we, in a given time and place and circumstances, can we do? We need guidance for that. We need somebody. And when you study Prabhupada's correspondence, it's full of this instruction according to time, place, and circumstances, how he encourages the devotees to do the best. So the ultimate principle is to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. That should give us assurance that we are moving on a spiritual platform. Because we ourselves very often cannot decide. I give you an example. One Mataji writes to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I'm falling down all the time. I'm sick. I cannot do my service. Prabhupada writes back, who is speaking about falling down here? That's your opinion. You are just sick. That's all. As a matter of fact, your disease, the misery you're experiencing, will tie you even more to Krishna. So you are becoming actually more Krishna conscious. I mean, I guess the Mataji was very inspired, okay? Yeah. So this is a practical example how we need instruction and help from superior authorities. It can come even in form of Shiksha Guru, but of course, preferably it should be the Diksha Guru who should have that kind of knowledge and guide us.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Prabhuji, this is sometimes the dilemma, because I was discussing with one senior god brother some time ago, and the understanding is that once you become a disciple, you totally follow whatever your guru tells you to do. But in that instance, it also sometimes, occasionally, it happens that the spiritual master may give wrong instructions. And if the disciple follows, there may be a disaster. And so, as much as we know that the third offense against chanting of the holy names of the Lord, which states to disobey the orders of the spiritual master, it's happened occasionally where a spiritual master, at least since the inception of ISKCON, the spiritual master was fallen. Most people didn't know he was fallen. And because he was fallen at that point, the Lord's mercy was not coming through the Guru. Meanwhile, the Guru, all these times, was still giving instructions. Now, because he was stepping away from Krishna and giving instructions, his instructions most likely were not coming through the parampara. And if the disciple followed the instructions, he might not be saved. So these are some of the present day actual situations that some devotees have. And so this understanding that a disciple should always follow the instructions of the guru becomes a bit dicey. And I don't know if you have any word of advice in this regard.
Well, this is always questions which answering them one asks for trouble. Because
it has to be personal. Okay.
Because it's actually I have nothing to lose. I'm an old man, so I can be open and honest. There is actually not just a guru. The guru is actually, as we described in the beginning, he's a postman. So I really love to quote my good brother Dhanavir Maharaj. Once upon a time, it's a long time ago, he told me, for me, I'm a guru, but for me to bring a disciple back home, back to Guru, it is a group effort. There are more people involved. They are the advisors on the location where the devotee serves. Then we have Guru, Shastra, Sadhu. So the Guru must act in accordance to Shastra and teach us how to apply the Shastra according to time, place, and circumstances. And then we have Sadhu, which is essentially defining the Guru Parampara, So it's a whole teamwork. So when a disciple understands my whole world is my guru, it is a danger involved there, that it becomes a personal cult. Personal cult means it's just the guru and the disciple. You worship the guru, there's nothing else. And actually you end up following blindly, more or less, because the guru said that's it. No, actually it's more intricate. And every bona fide guru will understand it that way, that I am just a part of the Guru Parampara. I can give you a smashing document from Prabhupada, how he understood himself to be a guru. I just published it on my webpage. It's shocking. Prabhupada said, actually, you are not really my disciples. You are sent to me by Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and I'm just taking care of you. That explains why Prabhupada was so tolerant. I mean, let's face it. In the early stage, his disciples were coming from basically from a very, very compromised background, most of them. And Prabhupada took it. Okay, if this is what Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is sending me, I have to do something with it. That's the reason why he was so tolerant. So, so it's not just guru-disciple thing. It's much more bigger, the picture. We entered a school, okay? School of Bhakti. There's a supreme director. You could call it the founder Acharya. The school was established by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are teachers. And if one teacher thinks in a school, all the students in a classroom are my property, they are mine, well, then obviously didn't understand this position. He's just teaching in a school. The picture is much bigger. You enter the school, and hopefully we graduate going back home, back to Godhead. That's the aim of the schooling. So I don't want to minimize the position of a guru. It's a very essential thing. But it's not just that. It's not a question of personal cult. And we saw in the history of ISKCON, whenever things turn this way, it leads to a disaster. Something happens to the guru, he thinks, I am the only one. I am the chosen one. I am the master of, I'm the owner of my disciples. When something happens to him, it's a mega disaster. I experienced, unfortunately, such a thing in North Europe. When you serve with 3,500 devotees and they lose their guru, what do you think, what kind of disaster that is? Until today, North Europe didn't recover from that. it's a big black hole out there on a map.
Yes.
So, so this is just warnings. So it's much more bigger, the picture.
Yes.
And I don't want to go more in detail. Like I said, I get myself in trouble. But we should understand things from a Shastric point of view. We entered the school, Srila Prabhupada opened a school for us as a teacher, and he presented himself only like that. Now, Prabhupada was for us everything, and he is for us everything, because we didn't know anything else. But he showed us, no, you entered now, I'm showing you how to be connected to Guru Parampara, how to be finally connected to Krishna by serving his mission. We all have the same mission. And that's how we actually be more long-term situated in Krishna consciousness. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Well, I do not think any sincere, honest individual trying to serve the Lord can find any issues with the answer you gave to my question. And I actually asked this question because I just listened to one interview that His Holiness Yadunandan Swami Maharaj had with the Namaras podcast a couple of days ago. And Maharaj was highlighting some of these concerns. And Maharaj was so honest and speaking from Srila Prabhupada's own words, which is not different from the explanation and the ideas you just gave. So thank you so much. It's an add up to what I got just yesterday. And I hope we all can learn that we do not minimize the position of the Guru, that we should not think that our Guru is the only person we have. There are many others who are also helping us along the way. So thank you so much. And with that, we may bring this wonderful Sangha to a close. And we hope to see you all again tomorrow by Shri Guru Krishna's grace. But before we leave, as usual, we're going to humbly request you all, wonderful devotees, to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our dear uncle, great uncle, His Grace Manidhara Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us today. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
All glories to His Grace Manidhara Prabhu ki jai.